Everybody, we are back with another episode of Meet the Trainers, and this time I am super thrilled to introduce you guys to Lee Weems. Lee, welcome, and please tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm always thrilled to talk with Tiffany. That's the highlight of every day. The rest of my day's downhill from here. It's all downhill. Today is a very special day for me. Today is the 20th anniversary of my police academy class convening. Happy 20th anniversary to me.
Yay!
This was a milestone that I kind of, targeted back then. It's like, man, I'd love to make it 20 years, and we'll see how much longer it goes.
And on top of being the world's greatest law enforcement officer, you have private classes that you teach, and you're bringing not one but two of those classes to Tac-Con. The first is a class that I think is really unique to Tac-Con. It's called Social Lever Gun. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it is kind of what the title says. It's using a lever gun for social purposes, not for going out and, hunting Bambi. The lever gun is still, I think, America's gun. Growing up where I did in the South, everybody had a lever action 30-30. And so I got to thinking about how could I put together a class that would enable, a cop coming right out of the academy. Okay, if they got granddad's deer rifle that they were given as a gift when they were 16, okay, how could they take this and use this as a patrol rifle? And from there, it just crosses over easily to the private citizen because, around here, everybody's got a 30-30 lever gun. And it's just how to take it, run it, keep it stoked, keep it hot, and some things they need to be aware of.
For the folks out there who have a closet full of handguns and AR-15s and shotguns, who say, what do I need to know about a lever gun for? What's your answer?
I'm not downing AR rifles at all. I own 4. I've got an issued one from my agency. They're fun to shoot. I like the utility of them and that you can change this, that, the other, accessorize them very easily. It's just not my favorite. I'm a lever gun guy, and there's a story that I tell at the beginning of classes the why I am particularly a lever gun guy.
Perfect teaser. We won't spoil it here. Come to the class if you want to hear the story, folks.
Let me point this out about the lever gun stuff real quick. It needs to be a centerfire rifle, and it needs to have a loading gate in the receiver. And you need to be able to direct load rounds into the chamber. Typically, last year when I taught this, I got 18 dozen questions. Well, can I run my 22 long rifle? Is that a centerfire? And, can I run my Henry? Well, Henry's a great rifle. I'd love to have one. But does it have a loading gate in the receiver? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just, you're not going to get any benefit from the class. So, centerfire with a loading gate in the receiver, and that you can direct load rounds into the chamber. Any of your old Winchesters or Marlins are going to work, or the old Marlin Glenfields. Those are going to be fine. The only current one on the market right now, the Henry rifles, they're great rifles. Again, I'd love to have one, but they load directly into the tube from the muzzle end, and that's just not going to work for some of the stuff we're doing in the class.
Perfect. Folks, if you're interested in Social Lever Gun, that class is taking place on Friday at 8. Is that right, Lee?
Whatever the schedule says. It's in the file section.
All right, perfect. Now, you've also got a second class at Tac-Con called Police Citizen Contacts, which is one of my favorite classes that you teach. Tell us a little bit about Police Citizen Contacts.
Police Citizen Contacts actually began back in 2009 as a class called Interacting with the Armed Citizen. And it's a class that I developed to go around the state teaching to agencies on how to deal with legally armed people. Because everything that I got taught in the academy, and I go to training classes, and everything was always, gun equals bad, you must do something. And, this is wrong. This is not how we need to be approaching the guy that's in the Publix buying bread. Yeah, and he's got a pistol on his hip. And so I developed a class that was a search and seizure approach to dealing with the armed citizen. We don't get into Second Amendment debates because it's a Fourth Amendment question. I started getting requests from private citizens. Hey, when can we go to this class that you're offering? So I kind of revamped it and decided I'd try it one time, taught it to a group of private citizens, and the questions were different. And so, I've kind of retooled it several times since then, kind of trying to accommodate where I can teach both. But it's still basically that 2009, class that's been revamped with as the case law, has followed it. And, basically it's myth busting.
So along those lines, don't give away the answers because if folks want the answers, they got to come to the class. But what are some of the common questions that you get from non-law enforcement, from the general public who want to know how should I interact with law enforcement if I get pulled over while I'm carrying?
That is probably the biggest question that comes out is what to do if you are, if stopped. And, typically it involves traffic stop scenario. And that's going to in a lot of ways depend on what the state law is. I have one answer for when it's state law does not require disclosure. Another answer for if your state does require disclosure. One of the things I did add when this class started going to being open to private citizens was discussions on use of force. Just because I thought that there's so much misinformation about that out there in the media and on places like Facebook and everything, and just people just completely unqualified to discuss the topic. And so I spent a lot of time on myth busting. Folks, if someone's trying to discuss law enforcement use of force with you, ask them what the Supreme Court ruled in Graham versus Connor. And if they can't answer the question, they're not qualified to continue the conversation.
I love it. Folks, if you are interested in taking police citizen contacts, it is offered twice. First on Saturday morning and then again on Sunday. Lee, thank you so much for your time. I will see you in New Orleans.